Welcome, everyone. Today we have another guest, and I'm going to let him introduce himself.
How's everybody doing? I'm a young music producer from Milwaukee. I've been making music for a long time. My name is Brizzy. Um, yeah, that's pretty much it. I've been making music for I'm 24, so I've been making music since I was like maybe 12.
You're from Milwaukee?
Yeah, I'm actually from Milwaukee. Yeah,
I did not know that. I
yeah.
guess I don't know where I thought you were from, but it wasn't Milwaukee.
Was it Chicago
I think so.
or maybe like a suburb of Chicago?
Yeah.
Yeah,
I don't know. I met you like a long time ago, so I feel like I don't remember where you would have told me you were from. Maybe it was Milwaukee. I don't know.
yeah.
It was a while ago, but that's cool. Milwaukee. Let's get into your music career. What made you have a passion for it? How'd you get started with producing music?
So it's crazy because it all started off as literally like an app on my phone. One of my friends, another one of my close friends, his name is Cameron too. So that's pretty crazy. But he showed me this app. I think it's called BandLab. And he was just kind of showing me, like giving me like a brief tutorial on like how the different instruments work and how you make different sounds and like the different knobs and stuff that you can turn to like more or less do some very, very basic level sound design. And again, this started when I was like 12, 13 years old. So I got intrigued. I was just like, okay, let's see if I can actually like figure out how to put songs together.
Hmm.
And that's really where it started. From there, it kind of got into more so a rabbit hole. Like I just delved deeper and deeper and deeper to um different sounds. I became very, very curious on like why do certain sounds make the sounds that they do,
Hmm.
the importance of not doing too much, if that makes sense. Like you want to put things together or have them sound a certain way to where there's still room for artistry. Like if an artist wants to buy a beat or if it's to get placed somewhere in a commercial or on Netflix or Hulu, etc.
Hmm.
Um, so yeah, I just really just started off experimenting based off of what I learned um, from the app that I was introduced to.
Hmm.
That's how it started.
When would you say you like started taking it really serious to the point you started buying equipment and did it on a laptop instead of your phone?
Um, that was actually after college.
Okay.
So I guess okay, here we go. So a brief timeline would probably be from like 13, 14, 15, like middle school years is when I was like just starting to get like the very, very basic level understanding of everything.
Hmm.
I took a break for like 2 or 3 years during high school because I was playing football and I was focused on trying to earn a scholarship, play at the collegiate level. Um, I actually was really good. I had several D2 offers and a couple of D1 offers, but I decided not to play because I went through a lot of injuries in high school. So that was just sidebar. So yeah, that was my break. My break was basically sports.
Hmm.
And then when I got to NIU, I I met a friend who was an artist, and the program that he was using to record his stuff on was FL Studio. So just watching him from like the artist perspective and like watching him go on YouTube and pick out beats that would fit what he would want to create and how he'd want to be represented, it
Hmm.
it kickstarted me all
Hmm.
over again. And it's like, this stuff is actually really cool. It reminded me of my passion
Hmm.
for music.
Would you ever
And
would you ever sing?
would I ever sing?
Yeah.
So, okay, another little story. So I grew up in the church. So I come from a singing family.
Yeah.
So I can sing, my brothers can sing, my mom can sing, my wife can sing. Yeah, I'm surrounded by singers, quite literally. So,
But none of your songs have voices in them.
right. So essentially, I like to use, or I'm actually getting to this point now. I'm kind of starting to use my voice and like implement it into my tracks as like basically like a almost like accents
Hmm.
to like the actual beat itself. So it sounds like it's part of the beat as opposed to me taking over and like becoming like this artist on top of the beat, if that makes
Hmm.
sense.
You wouldn't want to do that? Like ever be
No,
an artist?
no, I've never really had the passion to be like an artist because I feel like personally, like I don't know what I would talk about. Like of course I'd make R&B music, 100%. I produce it, I can sing, like, and I can write. I went to school for journalism and marketing, so like I could probably like do it, but I think I'd be much more fit behind the scenes, which is kind of why I kind of fell into the producer role. Um, who knows? I might ghostwrite. Like I'm not opposed to
Yeah.
that,
Yeah.
but yeah, I think my the passion is really the scientific aspect of audio engineering. That makes sense.
Okay. I get it. I was gonna say, do you get inspired by, I don't know if inspired is the right word, but I guess how do you, what is the word I'm trying to use? What's your thought process in making your songs? Let's start there.
Hmm. Um, this might sound crazy, but there isn't really like there's not a whole lot of thought behind when I create. Like it also depends on what I use. So like if I have a sample, I already have an idea because I'm listening to the sample and I'm like, okay, I can pitch this down. I can slow this part down. I can speed this up, you know? So that's different. But if I'm building from scratch, then 9 times out of 10, I'm just gonna play the keys until I get a certain feeling. If
Okay.
that makes sense.
So that feeling is that I literally can't think of the word I'm trying to use to describe what I'm trying to ask you.
Yeah.
When I hear a song, I can like relate to the song based off of its words. So are you trying to create that shared feeling with your music? And if so, how? Does that make sense?
So, okay, that makes sense. That makes sense. So with my beats, I try to make a potential artist feel the same thing that I'm feeling
Mm-hmm.
based off of, the piano or the keyboard, the drums. It's very, very empathetic in a way. That's the feeling that I'm trying to give off. I'm trying to make it so that I can connect with a potential artist. So that way they become inspired to make the song
Yeah.
that would have the fans relate to,
Mm-hmm.
if that makes sense. So it's almost like the beginning of like a chain reaction.
Mm-hmm.
That's kind of what I'm trying to initiate.
Yeah. Okay. I get what you're saying. How do you name your songs?
Um, so at first it was very random.
Mhm.
Like I can't even lie. Like I would literally I'd listen to it and like in the middle of me making it, I would save it and I'd stop like the production process and then I'd name it like the first word or first whatever that came to my mind, and
Mhm.
then I'd keep making it. And depending on how it goes, I might change it later, but that's kind of how it began. Now, um, I name my tracks based off of memories.
I was gonna say, I feel like I don't know what it was on, but you made a song and you were like, this reminds me of blah blah blah, and I think that's what you named it after. So I guess I just want to see how long you've been doing that.
Yeah, yeah, that's definitely more recent. I think I started doing that in perhaps 2022, I
Hmm.
want to say. Um, my last album that came out, um, that's crazy. I can't even. I'm blanking. I make so much music.
Hmm.
Like Sometimes I lose track of my own projects. Oh, Death. Death never sounded so beautiful. Um, you guys should check that out, by the way. It's on Apple Music, Spotify. Definitely go look it up. Um, but yeah, it's that entire project came from a place of pain, disappointment, trauma, heartbreak. And you can hear it. You can hear it throughout because it's like dark trap soul. It sounds really good. Like you guys would love it. Try definitely look it up when you get the opportunity. Um, but that is one of the projects that I plan to not necessarily expand on, but essentially I want to get more into like my personal catalog instead of just making music for other people. I want to leave that type of impact on the world that people can go and stream it and connect with me in a different way
Hmm.
because I'm not just a beat maker. Like I'm a artist who doesn't use words.
Hmm.
If that makes sense.
Yeah. Would you get mad if someone went to go use it and then they completely changed the meaning of it? Or are you like okay with it because that's just how they interpreted the song?
Like, are you talking about like the beats?
Yeah, like if someone went to go put lyrics over it, but their
Um,
lyrics were like happy and this song reminded you of a heartbreak. Are you gonna be upset about that?
I wouldn't be upset. I think I'd more so be surprised because I'd be interested to see how they flip something that was meant to be like from this very dark and like, gut-wrenching place emotionally, and then you turn it into something like upbeat and happy and it's like a triumphant song. That'd be very interesting to see. I don't think I've ever heard of something like that before, but it wouldn't make me upset only because how I perceive it based on the way that it was created might be completely different from how somebody else might hear it. And so if they hear something that's more like, that's coming from a positive light, then I feel like that'd be cool. Like I feel like that'd be interesting to see.
Yeah, I
So
get
yeah.
it. Have you heard people sample your songs or use your songs?
Um,
Is there a way to know? Like you can see if they make a purchase of it, but then do you ever follow up and see what they did with it?
I usually don't, but there is one song, one of my beats that went, I guess, semi-viral. It's my most popular beat. I think it's called Wins and Losses. There was an artist that beat sold like two or three times actually on YouTube. But there's an artist who bought that beat and he's actually in the process. He told last time we texted, he said he was on his way to Atlanta and he was trying to get the song on the radio and like get it registered and like all of that. So like I think it's like an official song and he told me he was gonna swing back around and get like the exclusive rights to it and all of that. Um it's actually a good song. And it almost perfectly fits the vibe of the the way that I designed the beat.
Yeah.
Um it can definitely go both ways. Like it has like R&B elements, but it definitely has more hip hop drums,
Hmm.
if that makes sense. So definitely you should probably put that in the description too, since it's, the
I'm
most
just
popular.
gonna have to list out your whole discography at this point. You keep talking about
Yeah,
every song you're making. No,
yeah,
I'll give you your
so many.
tags. Don't worry. People will be able to find you.
I definitely appreciate that. Oh man, for sure. But yeah, that was I guess the most prominent example of somebody being inspired and actually like really wanting to use my music. So that felt incredible. And that's
Mhm.
just, one person like on a smaller scale. So
Yeah.
that's it felt fantastic for real. Can't wait to see like how it develops and how it grows or like if the song, blows up or whatever.
Hmm. How does that work? Because he paid for you, said he bought it off YouTube. Can he then pay you to take it down off of your like website completely to stop letting people buy it? Is that what you mean by exclusive? Like only he can use it?
Yeah, so the way that the process works, because everything is under contract. Like it's under you basically you lease the beat out until somebody buys it exclusively. So what would happen is um he would come back to me, he'd come back to my website and we'd negotiate a price. And then once we reach an agreement, I would send him over everything. I give him the beat itself. I give him the different individual stems, so that way he has complete and absolute control over the entire project. And I would take it off of my website. It would stay on the channel. I would just say it instead of it saying free, I would change it to sold because now it's like exclusively his. Nobody else could legally purchase it.
Hmm.
He would control it, and then I'd only get like a certain percentage of like the royalties that he occurs off of that
Hmm.
song.
Hmm.
But yeah, it would be 100% his. He could do quite literally whatever he wants with it at that point.
So is your goal to have all of your beats be like that?
Like sold and like have them all exclusive.
Yeah.
Um, Not necessarily, but
What is your end goal?
that is that's an incredible question, and I still have not fully been able to answer that, if I'm being honest. Like I think the end game for me looks like me being able to like fully live off of my music, if that makes sense.
Hmm.
So whether that's people streaming me on Apple Music, Spotify, whatever, sync licensing where I'd get something placed on Hulu, Netflix, a movie that comes out, a TV show, a video game, any and every means in which I can generate like livable income off of my music. I think that's what it looks like because that'll allow me to create endlessly. If I can get to a point to where I can never stop creating, I think that would be the point in which I'm like, okay, yeah, this is a goal to be able to make a career out of it.
Hmm.
Because that's something like I'd never retire from that. Like I'd do that literally forever.
You don't get sick of it? Like when you're working on a beat, do you get tired of it, hearing it over and over again?
It's a really good question too. I don't I don't get sick of it, but I do have moments where I get burnt out.
Okay, yeah.
So yeah, like if I'm working on a project and for some reason it's just not hitting or it's not sounding the way that I need it to, then I start to get frustrated and it's like, okay, either I'll work on something else or I'll just step away from it from like a few hours or maybe come back to it the next day because sometimes you can suffer from fatigue, like creativity fatigue.
Hmm.
And so just like with anything else, you back away from it, you come back to it later on and then you have a fresh set, you have a fresh mind coming back to it, a um fresh set of ears because sometimes that happens too. Like you've been listening to stuff all day and you just get bogged down with it, and yeah, that could be a thing too. But I
Hmm.
don't think I'll ever get sick of it though.
That's good. How
Mhm.
long does it take you to actually make one of the songs?
Um, if I'm building from scratch, I would say anywhere between an hour and 30 to 2 hours. If I have a sample and I already have a very clear picture on where I want to take the sample, which is rare. But if I do, then I'd say 45 to an hour.
Okay. I feel like when I just think about it, I feel like it would take longer. But I'm also very indecisive, so that could just be me, you know?
Yeah.
Like, how do you know, like, how many different things are you trying? Do you try like one or two things and then you just choose which one you like better? Or are you trying like five to six things and seeing what you like better?
So I guess like part of gaining experience like over the years and like just knowing what works and what doesn't, you kind of you develop a skill. And I know a lot of other producers who are already experienced, they already know what I'm about to talk about. But you develop a skill called sound selection. And essentially, especially if like you're very niche specific, like for me, I'm very R&B neo soul. I already know off the bat how, like for example, drums. I know exactly what open hats, hi-hats, claps, rims, snares, kicks. I know exactly what I want all of that to sound like because I'm going into it with the genre already in mind.
Mhm.
And as far as like picking out individual sounds, like I know for a fact I'm gonna need some sort of piano, some sort of whether it's a like a grand piano or an electric. I prefer electric. I think it sounds prettier, and you hear it more often or most commonly in like other neo soul songs. Lots of Erykah Badu. Um, so yeah, for me, because sound selection is like such a huge emphasis, um, that allows me to increase my workflow. And then also off of that same note, picking good sounds will allow you to mix faster as well. Because I literally mix my songs as I go. By the time I get to the end of the beat, I'm I might have like two or three finishing touches, and then that's it because I've already mixed it and it sounds very, very full and complete by the time I'm done. Instead of doing the entire thing, then going back to the beginning, mixing it, and then mastering. Like that's a headache. That there's no reason for you to spend 3, 4, 5 hours on one beat. Like to me, that's crazy.
Okay.
That's actually wild. Like there's no way. There's actually no way.
Now, if I ever try doing it and it takes me that 5 hours, I am going to feel so judged by you, but it's okay. I don't think it's anything I'm ever gonna try. I'll just stay listening to your stuff. That works for me.
I
Um,
appreciate it. Hey, it's definitely an acquired skill. Like it's not something that is going to like, come overnight for
mhm.
sure. You definitely have to get used to it.
Yeah, I don't think writing music, I don't think the music industry is for me at all. Not a good singer, not the best dancer, too indecisive to actually create anything. So I'm good just talking to people in the music industry and learning about it that way. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. I understand that.
Have you tried other genres?
Yes. So remember when I said like how I first kind of got started with like that app when I was like 12, 13 years old. So from there, um, after my break in high school, maybe towards like the middle of my junior year of high school, senior year, I switched from BandLab to an app called Medley. And that was like a significantly more advanced version of BandLab. Or not BandLab, Beatwave. I keep saying BandLab, but the app is called Beatwave. That's where I started. It's called Beatwave. Um, so yeah, I began with trap and hip hop. And I made like this is back when I was in my bag off of making iPhone beats. I think I made like my first like 5 or 6 mixtapes off of my phone, my iPhone 5C. That's yeah, that was yeah, those beats. I actually still have them on my iPad. I thought they were deleted, but I have everything. It's literally on my iPad. Um, there's not going to be a link to those though. I'm not putting that stuff
Not
out.
linking
That's
those. No one get your hopes up for that. They're not going to be linked. Okay.
yeah, nah, those y'all won't hear those. My first ever album was also off of that same app as well, which is still on Apple Music and Spotify. It's called Jaded. Um, I have a couple of EPs that yeah, I need to reproduce a lot of music that I made off my phone now that I have professional stuff. But yeah, I started off with hip hop, lo-fi. I wanted to get into to pop or like EDM, but that just seems like a lot. Like there's a lot going on with those types of
I
beats.
I like your R&B stuff, so you should stick to that because I listen to it while working. So,
Yeah, yeah, that's it kind of became my bread and butter because I wanted a challenge. Like hip hop and trap music, especially if you listen, think of your favorite artist, and I want you to go through whichever favorite album you have of them, and then listen to the music itself behind their voice. Those beats are so simple. That doesn't mean it's bad. Simplicity is never a bad thing because if it's simple enough for an artist to get on it, that could lead you down a whole nother path
mhm.
of big money, depending on who the artist is.
Yeah.
But the point is that with hip hop and trap, it's very, very easy to grasp, which is why I started there. But I wanted to shift to R&B, especially specifically neo soul, because A, it's a lot more that goes into it, or at least for me. Now, other producers might feel differently, but I'm also not a musician. I only recognize music in like different keys, different sounds. I recognize music by ear. I
Hmm.
think I have perfect pitch. I'm not sure. But that was the challenge that I sought out. It took me a couple of years to like really get good at making R&B music. It did not come overnight.
Mm.
Absolutely not. Trap, that kind of came overnight. Like I'm not even gonna lie. Like literally 5, 6 mixtapes off of my phone.
I feel like trap would be easier with like, especially the way that you explained it earlier, with like knowing what kind of drums or piano you want in it. I could see why trap would be easier for that stuff.
Yeah. And ultimately, all people care about, like for example, if you go to like you can go to any club or any, social event where they have like the huge speakers and the music is going crazy. Most people only care about the drums and the
Mhm.
words.
Yeah.
If that 808 is punching, and then like you could say the most repetitive, like whatever. It doesn't even have to have any real substance in the song. If
Yeah.
those drums are right, I guarantee you people are gonna love the song 100%.
True.
Travis Scott in an interview once said that like the most important track or the most important part of a track is the drums. Like the drums have to be right. And that kind of goes for all genres of music, but specifically hip hop.
Hmm.
The drums they have to hit. So I became a drum specialist. Like that's like probably the very first thing that I learned how to put drums together.
Were you watching videos? How did you learn how to do it?
Um, so on the phone, I was self-taught. Like actually like gaining the understanding of how things work. I more or less taught myself how to do it. So what you hear 9 times out of 10, like if it's not a sample, anything that's made from scratch, what you're actually hearing is something called MIDI. And all MIDI is, it's basically a digital language that represents what notes are being played when, if that makes sense. So for the phone, everything was touchscreen. So I literally had to tap in the notes for everything because I couldn't, well, initially, I couldn't sample on my phone. I learned how to do it because I had to teach myself that too. I kind of just got creative. That was, like I said, rabbit hole. Um, but yeah, like it's you kind of just open up the program and then like you spend hours and hours and hours just figuring out, okay, why is it doing that? If I turn this knob, what is going to be the outcome? Type of thing. And I literally spent hours just doing that. And every once in a while I would refer back to YouTube University to
Hmm.
look up anything that I couldn't figure out myself. So that combination of like trial and error mixed with just your everyday typical experimentation that really got me to where I am now. Because I've never worked with anybody. Like everything that I've done has been like me in my own headspace. Like nowadays, like producers, they email me. I get emails every week from like artists and musicians who send me stuff. But initially, it was 100% me.
Hmm. That's kind of crazy. I feel like that should make people appreciate you more because you're like self-taught.
Yeah. Yeah, and that's the part that a lot of people don't see. Like they hear the end product and they're like, oh, I wonder where he got this sample from, or oh, I wonder where he did this or did that. And it's like I that's the part that they don't get. Like I literally had to teach myself everything.
Mm.
Like sampling, like if I sat here and explained to you my sampling technique right now, first of all, I think whoever else listens to this is gonna definitely take that same thing, that exact same idea, and B, they're gonna be like, I don't think I've even heard of that before. Like I never looked up how to sample or how to um like get different sounds from like online or wherever else. Like a lot of what I do, I'd say probably 95%, 95 to 97% of what I do is like all original as far as like the techniques that I use, the way that I go about selecting sounds, how I structure everything.
Mm.
Yeah, that's the part that people don't see though.
You should make videos about it.
It's crazy that you just said that because I just wrote up like this idea for like another YouTube channel where I have like a behind the scenes look and I explain why I did what I did. Like I'll make a beat live and then I'll explain like what happens and get into sound selection, get into structure, where to get where to get good sounds from, like literally get in depth.
Hmm. I'd watch it. I like learning about that stuff. So you have
Yeah.
one view for
One
right.
hey, that's a step in the right direction. Absolutely. That'd be fantastic. That'd be a good place to start.
Yeah, I got you. You let me know when it comes out. And then I'll update my YouTube channel to include that link as well. So then everything is just linked there.
Everything's there. Yeah. That'd be fantastic. That'd be dope. That'd be
Um,
real.
so we are out of time. Is there anything you want to talk about that I didn't ask you about?
Um,
Or do you want to just promote yourself more, let people know where they can find you?
hmm. First of all, that time flew.
I
Like
did.
it absolutely flew. We're gonna have to do this again. That was crazy. I'm gonna take this time to, I guess, do a little bit of promo. So as of right now, you all can look me up. Um, my YouTube channel is Prod.Brizzy. That's Prod.Brizzy. My channel, it's growing. It's nothing too crazy right now, but we just getting started. I plan on making more channels in the future. I'm gonna release those names when they come out. You can look me up on Apple Music. It should be, well, okay, yeah, my Apple Music and my Spotify. Um, the stage name is I Am Brizzy, but it's all me. Keep an eye out over the next couple of months because I have a lot of releases coming. Um, again, like we talked about in the podcast, I have a behind the scenes type of vibe going on where I like delve more into like the actual production process. I'm going to be talking about like how to handle your business because that's a thing. But most people got the creative aspect down, but they don't have any really sense of like how you should handle your business, how you should um, get back out to clients who want to be, interested in buying your beats. All of that matters because it's all your brand, it's all your name. So I'm definitely going to have a master class on that. It'll be free. I should also include my website in the bio under my LLC. It's called Brizzy Productions. I sell beats. I'm actually working on another sound or sample kit. I already have one out. It's called Elucidation. Make sure that'll be in the bio as well. Um, so yeah, I'm just your typical underground producer. Well, not typical. I'm a lot better than most, but I'm gonna
Oh,
just let it speak for itself. Let the music do the talking.
yeah. I think we're about to get kicked off this Zoom call, but thank you for promoting yourself, and I'll make sure it's all linked below.
For sure. Thank you so much for having me.
Yes, thank you for coming on. Thank you for listening to this episode. Stick around and listen to another episode after you subscribe. And remember, be happy and be chill.